Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome back to My Monday Life, the story that we tell about living our faith beyond Sunday morning. You know, we all want to be better spouses, better friends, better neighbors. We want to take our faith beyond the four walls of this sanctuary out into everyday life and see how our Christianity impacts our choices, our decisions, our circumstances, and especially our conversations. And so today, as we begin the season of Lent, we want to look at the impact that our faith has beyond Sunday morning. Everything that we're here about as a church is about moving beyond these walls into everyday life. That's why I like to do these here in the sanctuary, because behind me there's this wonderful image of Jesus, and he's praying for us. And I think that every time that we gather, we wonder, what does Jesus want us to know about who we are, but especially about who we can become? You know, for the last couple of weeks and months, I've been trying to impose a thought into your mind that I hope that goes to the very core of who you are, that you were made for more, you know, that there's more to life than where you are now. In many respects, Lent lends itself to that philosophy, that idea, guiding us and saying, as we take on new challenges, as we give up some old habits, as we begin to reflect on who we are, we begin with the idea that we're made for more and that Lent is guiding us in this time of discovery. Well, during my time of Lent, I usually like to go back over and read the story of the Exodus, of these Hebrew slaves that are under this bondage of Pharaoh, of a government, of an oppressive system of economics, of power, of greed, and of brutality. You see that playing out a lot today in the media, in Ukraine, and around the world. And so the story of Exodus is always playing out in our world. But if you remember the story, God's plan was to take these Hebrew slaves and take them out of this land of bondage through the Red Sea to a place of worship at Mount Sinai, where they would be given this book of law, this morality that was beyond just tribalism or polarized or political parties. It's part of what has created even this country about who we are. For we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, and they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. Among them are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's what this country was founded upon. And do we ever live up to those ideals? Not perfectly, but they are aspirational. They're things that guide us into the future. Now, it was God's intent to lead the Hebrews from Mount Sinai all the way to the Promised Land, to Mount Zion in Jerusalem, to be a people all of his own, to pour himself into these people, that they might become a light to the community, a light to the world of this is who God is, and this is who we can be. And in many respects, that's what we are called to do, that we come to this place of worship, but then we go out into the world to share that good news, to be an example, a light in a very dark and weary world. Now, you know the rest of the story. The Hebrews make the journey all the way from Sinai all the way to the Jordan River. And at that moment, when they begin to explore this new promised land that God has in store for them, they kind of balk. And they said, we're too small. We can't take this land. We have no skills. We're nothing. Compared to these people, who are we? Now, the strange part about that story, of course, is that they had just come out of Egypt. They just saw these 10 plagues. They just saw God roll up his sleeve and fight for them, and they were free. But at the moment of choice, the moment that they could truly make a difference, they balked. And they said, we just can't do it. Now you know the rest of the story, that for 40 years they wandered in the desert. And I can't help but wondering if they reflected on the choices that they made, what they could have done, where they could be, instead of wandering in this dry, desolate land. You know, Lent is a 40-day period of reflection, and 40 days has always been a time of testing, a time of refinement, whether it was the 40 days of rain for Noah, whether it was the 40 days of wandering in the desert, or the 40 days of Jesus in the wilderness. It has always been a time to reflect and to try to look deeper at who we are and who we can become. So during this time of Lent, this is your opportunity to kind of pull back the covers and look at yourself in the mirror honestly and to ask about the choices that we're making. So here's a couple of questions that I would like you to ponder this Monday morning as you look at your life, as you look at this time of 40 days of reflection. The first one is just to ask a very simple question. What's holding you back? What's holding you back? Where do you see your life going? What is it that God has put into your heart? Where is that spark in your eye? Where's that jump in your step? Where's that energy that wants to flow, but you just kind of hold back and you look at yourself and say, it can't be me. What's holding you back? The other one that I'd like to ask is, what beliefs are you believing that are not true? That are not true. I can't do anything. I can't go into the promised land. I'm just a simple me or simple you. What are the things that are not true about you, but that you are believing anyway? About your gifts, your talents, or maybe even about God. God could never use someone like me. Are you sure? Look at the people that God has used in the past. David, Moses, Rahab, Ruth, Esther, Peter, Paul. What about all of those great saints that we admire? Came from very humble beginnings. What about you? And lastly, what are you believing that is true? That God is a God of creation. He loves taking the simple things and confounding us by giving us new challenges that draw the very best out of us. What if you took that one step, that you took that step into the promised land? How much different would your life be then? What is it that you believe about God that you know is true? That God is a God of creation. God is a God of love that will never leave us or abandon us. What is it that you believe that is true? Well, friends, it is a Monday morning. It's a time to look at our lives in the week ahead and wonder what's about to unfold. And I hope that your week and your whole season of Lent is about renewal, that will strengthen you and remind you that you were made for more than where you are now, and that you will take the step and find it and accept it. Well, friends, my prayer for you is always the same on a Monday morning. I pray that your coffee is strong, that your eyes would be open, your heart would be light, and your path would be obvious. Friends, until next time, may God bless you with an abundance of surprises. Until then, God bless.